For today's extra special, we bring you a significant development in the realm of press freedom in Nigeria. A federal high court in Abuja has discharged and acquitted Agba, Jalingo, a prominent Nigerian publisher, of cybercrime charges. Now, this ruling is seen as a victory for the Nigerian media and a crucial step towards protecting journalistic freedom. Agba Jalingo, the publisher of the online newspaper Cross River Watch, was discharged and acquitted of cybercrime charges by a federal high court in Abuja. Mr. Jalingo was prosecuted over a June 30th, 2022 Facebook post alleging that Alami Ayade, wife of the younger brother of former Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade, contracted someone to write a law examination for her at the Nigerian Law School in Abuja.
The police arrested Mr. Jalingo in August 2022 after a siege at his Lagos residence and arraigned him in 2023 before Justice Zainab Abubakar, who remanded him at the Medium Security Custodial Center, Kuje. Later, he was granted bail, and on Monday, the judge, Joyce Abdulmalik, ruled that Mr. Jalingo was not guilty of the crime he was accused of, stating that the prosecution had wasted the court's time. Mr. Jalingo expressed his happiness with the judgment, stating that he had been persecuted, not prosecuted. He also mentioned his attempt to seek an out-of-court settlement with Mrs. Ayade, which were rejected. Mr. Jalingo emphasized that this judgment is a victory for the Nigerian media, highlighting the law used to harass journalists.
And previously in 2019, Mr. Jalingo was arrested and charged with terrorism, treasonable felony, and cybercrime for accusing then Governor Ayade of diverting 500 million naira. Amnesty International in Nigeria has declared him a prisoner of conscience and accused the government of manipulating the justice system against him. Joining us now to discuss his acquittal and the broader implication for press freedom in Nigeria, is it really free, is Agba Jalingo himself. Welcome to the program, Mr. Jalingo. It's good to have you join us today.
It's always a pleasure. Good to be with you.
All right. First of all, let's say congratulations to you on your acquittal.
And, how do you feel about the decision? That's the court's decision.
It's always a delight to be exonerated from every criminal charge. It's not an easy task staying in jail. Once you get it wrong on any criminal charge, you're on your way to prison in handcuffs. And I don't think that anybody will desire that for fun. And I can tell you that I'm very, very happy that I was acquitted. And because those who took me to court actually saw that they wanted to make me an ex-convict and ensure that I returned to jail. But I'm very happy that God disappointed them. And I feel very good. It's a victory not just for me, but a victory for the press in Nigeria.
You mentioned that you felt persecuted rather than prosecuted. Can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
I've always been persecuted since 2019. There was not a time I committed a crime to have warranted my arraignment in federal courts, for that matter. I had to go through a very grueling arrest in 2019 where I was locked up in the boot of a Toyota Highlander from Lagos to Calabar. I spent 26 hours in the boot of a car. I defecated on myself twice while I was being taken to Calabar and was handcuffed to a deep freezer, kept in police detention for 34 days, and went through an unnecessary trial for 3 years for terrorism, attempt to overthrow Buhari and Governor Ayade, and all kinds of frivolous charges, wasting money and my energy on things that I think were sincerely not necessary. And then a few years after I came out of jail again, they came back again to carry me to Kuje and all that. That's not prosecution, just total waste of taxpayers' money. Like in Calabar, sometimes we come to court with over 50, 100 security personnel. That is waste of resources and deployment because there are places where those security people are needed. I can't hurt a fly. I can only use my biro and write. So if they were sincerely looking for journalists, for criminals to prosecute, Agba Jalingo is not one of them. I'm not a criminal. I'm very, very sure about that. I'm just doing my job. So I have always known that some people who are powerful were not happy about the fact that we're exposing their criminality. And it's a good thing that the court agreed with us.
All right. do you feel that, I mean, aside the court judgment, do you feel you've gotten justice personally?
I just escaped going to jail. I have not gotten justice. But you see, I don't know if I'm even looking for justice. I am just looking for a Nigeria that will be better for us, not just as journalists, but for everybody, because I don't know where I'm going to go and get the justice. I had the option of suing Governor Adi after I was acquitted of the terrorism trial in 2009. But my wife in particular prevailed on me that if we take him to court, we will lose the emotional victory, and that we will lose whatever God has done for us. And I accepted. And even after I was discharged again and acquitted on Monday, immediately I left the dog. I went straight to Alameda. She was in court. She wanted to see me in her cause. I went straight to her. So sitting somewhere, I spotted before her and hugged her. She's my sister. We are related. And I told her, I still love you, sister. However it turns out in court, I still love you. I still love you as my sister. And there's still a civil case that I'm facing, 500 million naira here in Abuja. That's why I'm still here at the FCT High Court in Akko. I will be appearing in court again. That's not a criminal case, it's a civil matter. We're appearing there on Monday. And some of our reporters in Cross River Watch were sued along with me. So my goal is not to look for justice. There's no justice in Nigeria. And I'm not sure I will be able to get justice anywhere. I am not interested in suing anybody. I have not taken anybody to court all my life. And I don't know if any circumstance in the future will warrant me to do that. I'm not a cantankerous person. I just want a Nigeria that will be better. I want an environment to allow me to do my job and ask those tough questions that will lead to the change of society. That's what I'm looking for. Justice is an illusion. Justice is only for the rich. As far as we are still not as rich as the powerful people, it might just be a far cry. But I thank the courts for ensuring that I was not returned to prison. But talking about justice is a far cry.
Mr. Jalingo, you just you mentioned a civil case that you have, and that's why you're still in Abuja, of about 500 million naira, if I heard you correctly. Can you give us more details on that case, a civil case?
Yeah, after the police came to harass me and actually kidnapped me from my house to come and charge me for the criminal charges. In fact, actually, the civil case was the first thing that was instituted by Alami Ayade at the FCT High Court in Akko, suing me for defamation of character and requesting that the court should ask me to pay her 500 million naira. The matter was ongoing, but I think their thinking was that a civil matter, I don't need to come to court necessarily unless the court expressly demands my presence. It is the lawyers that were going. So they weren't satisfied about that. They needed something that would stress me, something that would squeeze me out. Something that's why they involved the police. They had to write a frivolous petition to the police to come and arrest me. I was first detained at they used to call it SARS, but they now call it Agba 2 or something, a very notorious police station here in Abuja, where I was kept, and then later charged to court and taken to Kuje prison. That's what they actually wanted. They wanted to stress me. But of course, the mistake they are making is that the person they are dealing with has also been toughened by experience over the years. This coming to Kuje was my 5th prison. Because of activism. There has never been a time a court in Nigeria or anywhere in the world has convicted me of any crime, regardless of my several detentions for the work I do. The police have locked me up for more than 50 times in the course of my job as a journalist. Not once have I been charged and convicted of any crime. So all of this while is just persecution, and somebody is doing that, hoping that one day I will break and stop talking. But that's a lie, because this is what I was born for. It's my job, and I will not give up. They should just learn their lessons and know that they are dealing with a hard nut that will not be able to crack. As far as I'm doing my job, I will not go out of my way to lie against anybody. Okay, I'll do my job, but if you think you can oppress me and run me out of my job, it's a lie. This is the only way I know how to earn a living.
Mr. Jalingo, it's good to know that to a very large extent you are pretty much die-hard. I mean, I want to believe that, personally there must be pressure from, your immediate family, extended family, friends who, might be telling you to give up on journalism. Are you considering that maybe soon or in the future?
Like I said, I don't know how to do another thing. The only thing I know how to do is journalism. I wish I knew how to sew. Maybe I would have become a tailor. Or maybe I wish I was a lawyer. Maybe I would just start going to the courtrooms to defend people. But I'm only a journalist. That's the only thing I know how to do. And I have to continue to earn a living and be able to take care of my family and other things. And that's the only thing I know how to do. I'm not going to give up. Yes, there's no doubt about the fact that family, friends, and loved ones are concerned about my repeated incarceration and sometimes the brutality that you also face. And I am also not growing younger. In 4 years' time, I'll be 50 years old. Everybody around me is worried. But I don't do these things out of my own prompting. There is something from within that pushes you to go on doing what you are doing. And I can assure you that if I stop doing what I'm doing, I will even die younger because this is what keeps my energy alive.
Right. So this judgment has been described as a victory for the Nigerian media. What message do you think it sends to other journalists facing similar charges? I mean, we saw earlier of Daniel Druku, who was also abducted by the forces who were supposed to protect him and taking him all the way to Abuja. But now he's been released. But what does this say to journalism in Nigeria?
I think the thing is that journalists have to be strong. And I will say certain things that even some of our colleagues will not like. Mainstream journalism has been hijacked by government and the powerful people in our society. The television, mainstream journalism, let me just use that broad word, let me not be specific. Thank God for social media. Thank God for independent people who think about the good of the society. Some of them are not even necessarily trained journalists, but they're interested in making sure that they filter out information and giving it to the public to be able to empower the people to ask questions. And the message from some of these judgments is that you need to be strong. You need to be strong. If you are coming into journalism to make money, it's a very difficult task. You better go and do business, another business. If you want to do journalism, if you want to ask those tough questions, you need to be strong and be sure that, yes, there are one or two judges here and there with all the corruption in the judiciary. They'll still hope that if you are dragged before them, you can still find your way back to freedom. It is not every time that you go to jail, but you must be prepared to take the whips, you must be prepared to go through these inconveniences. But if we really want to change our society, journalists must realize that you have to ask those tough questions and don't be scared. That's what the politicians want. They want to scare us out of our jobs. They want to make us afraid. They want to make sure they decide the questions that we ask them. They don't want us to interrogate the answers that they give to us. And once you do, they come after you, hoping that the moment they do, you will break. That was exactly what Governor Ade wanted to do to me. Right. Charging me for terrorism, you know what that means? Attempt to overthrow Buhari with what? Every time I was taken to court, I was just wondering, what the hell are these people doing here? But that's exactly what they want. Bully you out of what you know how to do and then drive you into oblivion. Every Nigerian journalist who wants to bring change to society needs to be strong and know that the courts are there. You can always run there and find your space back to society and continue what you are doing. And even when we return, let's not be scared. Let's continue from where we stopped.
Now, Amnesty International had declared you a prisoner of conscience. How important was their support, particularly, during your struggles? And is Nigeria actually guaranteeing to us, absolute freedom for the press?
Well, Amnesty has been a very great supporter, I wouldn't say a lie, and their intervention actually helped a lot. And I wasn't the only person that was declared prisoner of conscience. My boss and very good friend, Omoyele Sowore, was declared prisoner of conscience. Mandate, a young fellow who has also been in the struggle for some years, who was also arrested along with us, was also declared a prisoner of conscience, and myself. That declaration went a long way. They helped Amnesty International committees to protect journalists in New York, and a lot of local organizations did a lot of work to see that we had some form of succor and comfort in jail, wherever we were locked, because 3 of us were locked in different locations. Mandate was detained in Osogbo in Osun State and later moved to Abuja. I was kept in faraway Calabar, and Sowore was kept in Abuja, so we're far separated from ourselves, even though we belong to the same movement. We knew the reason. The whole idea was to torment us physically with all those frivolous charges, but we were in touch with ourselves, and the prison system has telephones, and we were talking with ourselves, and we kept encouraging ourselves and knowing that everything would be fine. But the intervention of this organization, specifically the Amnesty International, also helped to put pressure on the state actors who wanted to continue to keep us behind bars. And till today, we are still in touch with them. And we love the work they are doing, not just for us, but for other people that have been arrested subsequently after our own ordeal.
All right.
All right.
I feel like asking, a bit personal question here. That's your family life, particularly your wife. I mean, how does she,
take all of this?
Take all of this.
This whole, from 2019,
exactly,
the
right?
different cases, just the effect of it on family, not just her, but also extended family and friends as well.
Not just 2019. Like I told you, before 2019, I had been to 3 prisons for my work. So 2019 was just the most popular. It wasn't 2019. Me and my wife started in crisis. The good thing I have is that yesterday was her birthday. I usually will refrain from talking about my family. Yesterday was my wife's birthday, and I think that we were made for ourselves. We started with ourselves in church, even though I don't go to church again. We're young people, so we know ourselves. We know the extent of pressure that we can take. We were made for ourselves, and I'm very happy that I think that when God was creating her, God had me in mind. He knew exactly what I was coming to do, and He gave her the strength and the stamina to do what she's doing. There are occasions when she gets broken as well. She cries like every other human being when her husband is not around or being taken away. And sometimes when I'm being brutalized, it worries her, but she knows that this is what I have to do, and she's been there all the way. Sometimes she feels worried, but I don't think there's any occasion she has ever asked me to stop doing what I'm doing. She hasn't. But there are occasions she wishes that I had another job other than journalism, but she hasn't asked me to stop doing what I'm doing. She's strong, she's fine, and I give glory to God, and I want to use this space to wish her a happy birthday. She's a strong woman. Her name that her parents gave to her is Okemena. Okay, she's so cool. Okemena means my gift, so I believe that that name was given specifically for me. She was a gift to me. I can't imagine if it were another person, I would have had some real marital crisis by now. But she's also a very concerned person about the society. She was worried about injustice, and I think that our paths just crossed, and it's been good. It's been good.
I have to say happy birthday to her. It's good to know that I have a fellow July birthday mate as well, because I'm also July. So happy birthday to her, and also congratulations.
Exactly.
I mean, the next what does the next phase look like for Agba Jalingo? Personally,
I'll keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't have faces in my life other than I'm just
the next era. How about that? What's the next era?
My course of 14 years are still fitting into me. It's only my age that is changing. My shape is not changing. Nothing about them. I'm also noticing that I'm beginning to grow small gray hair. So as everything comes, I take it like that, and we don't plan anything. You just come do your work. I just try to ask the questions I need to ask. And then if any other thing comes, we take it. But the thing is that Nigerian journalism is being weakened every day by even the democratic forces. The zeal to practice journalism, particularly from the mainstream, is not there. Journalism has become transactional. Most of the people coming into the job now are more concerned about salaries, and not as if the salaries are not important, about how to use their pen to get some influence and then make money out of the profession. But that wasn't the original intention of journalism. The intent is to see how you can use the pen as a tool to change society. That's why they say the pen is mightier than the gun. I've seen it myself. With several cases, I've seen that the pen is indeed mightier than the gun. And the young people who really want to come into this profession must realize that it is not a profession where you come to make money. You may never make money as a journalist. As a matter of fact, I tell everybody that unless you are not practicing very properly, and I want to concentrate on seeing that I multiply myself. In Crossover Watch, we are doing a lot to see how we grow younger persons that will have that radical tint for accountability in journalism, because everything now has become mercantilized about journalism. But we are trying very fervently to see how we create a crop of young people who will have that tint to call for accountability regardless of the risks that are involved, and I will be paying more attention to that part of the job in the next few years as I prepare to also
thank you so much
retire.
Thank you so much for your time and, of course, sharing your experiences and insight with us this morning, Mr. Agba Jalingo.
God bless you, and God bless Central TV. God bless Nigeria. I wish you guys, I see that you're very young. I see your face. You're looking very handsome. And I know that God gives you a lot of energy.
Thank you.
When you talked about crossover youth, I must say that I'm also an indigenous of crossover, and you've done us really proud, and we're very, very proud of you. So thank you so much.
Where are you from in crossover?
I'm from Obudu. I'm from Northern. I'm from Obudu. I'm from Utuguan. Yeah, Iwo. I don't know how to speak my language.
Okay. Once again, thank you for your time, Agba Jalingo.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.